Music is like, an accompaniment to everything that we do. When you're in a certain space and you feel like you need something that's soothing or something that gets you pumped up because you want to like drive fast on the freeway, or sometimes it's just background and you want to chill out. And so it's all those things to me. And some of my earliest guitar influences, I loved Andy Summers, I loved Alex Lifeson, and these were people that had really sophisticated guitar tones. Most all the music that was going on in my hometown was covers. So maybe the obsession with tones and how to get different tones and how to get close to them when I was hearing some of the amazing guitar sounds and things that were happening at the time. It was like you weren't nothing if you couldn't do it. I just got really into it and started to sort of tune my ear in to not just parts, because the parts are super important, but also the tones and the effects and the different types of amplifiers. What was the difference between like American distortion or the British distortion, the Marshall thing, or a Vox type of sound, or different speakers. I learned early on like what the difference was between a 25-watt greenback and a 30-watt greenback. It really served me well because I don't consider myself like that great of a guitar player technically. I don't have this like massive knowledge, but one thing I can do is learn parts off of albums and I can get guitar sounds. And so when I would go into these auditions to get gigs as a side band, I would go in and I would always bring my whole rig, my pedal board, my amplifier, the right guitars, everything. Because many times they provide amps when you go in to do an audition. Somebody say, oh, there'll be an amp there, just come in and play, bring a couple pedals or something. And I'd be like, no way, I gotta bring my stuff. Go into the audition and I'd have all the sounds dialed off the record. Now, imagine you're an artist and you're getting ready to go out on a big tour and you've just made an album and you've put everything into it, your heart and soul, and you're stressed. It's like now you gotta look for a band, touring band, a guitar player, a drummer, whatever you're looking for. And if you walk into those auditions and you've got all the tones dialed as well as the parts, you're golden. Line 6 was one of the first companies that it kind of put it all together in a package and sort of made it easy, I guess. So it was like when the pod came out, it was like, here's this tool that you could use, on sessions and for demos and things like that. And it was like a whole ton of sounds, and there was big knobs on the front of it, which was really cool, And so also Line 6 brought out the DL4 and also the modulation modeling pedal. And, those units came out and they had great big knobs on them. You could easily store a preset, and that was like, for us guitar players, that was like, wow, that's cool, it's very simple. So the cool thing about Helix is that I feel like that sort of ease of use factor that I was mentioning when it comes to like the DL4 style pedals and things like that, they've been able to, pack a ton of more, tone and effects and different types of things into this and keep that direct, simple thing. It's great because you can just map the foot switches to you can make them whatever you want them to be. So for example, I've got a few pedals on here. That's turning on the compressor right there. There's effects loop 1 right there. So I can easily get to the compressor. This becomes the on-off switch right here for the Archer. And then this is the fuzz. So I've got my 3 pedals mapped right there on the board. When I'm in there and it's like I need a sound, I need a delay, I need something, I need it up now, and I'm in the studio, having this little board, having it all set up, it's like, it made it so easy, it's just like a powerhouse of effects, and yet it's basically as simple to use as the DL4. Artistically, that affects things in a really positive way, because it's like the second that I get an idea for a part in my head, it's like, okay, hear this thing, which is kind of how I work. I mean, like when I'm be it on my own music or I'm in doing a session, I'm just listening to the track and hearing it and then thinking like, I can hear this thing in my head, now I need to be able to get that out through the guitar and my fingers and get it recorded. As soon as I get a sound and I've got something that sounds like a song to me, really, I can just hear the music like evolve in my head right away. That's coming, from this crazy sound like that comes out of the speakers, So the quicker that you can do that, the quicker you can get from A to B, the less chance that you're going to lose that idea. So if you can get that tone happening really quickly and if it's easy, that's huge.